everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Nerd Caliber. Today we're going to talk to Raymond Ramos, also known as Raymond Ramos Cosplay, someone who I've known, I think about over 5 years now. I remember Boston Comic-Con when you were Blade, and that's the first distinctive memory I have.
That was like one of the first. Yeah, that was my first cosplay. So that was like the big one for me. I tell you the truth, I didn't think I was gonna do anything other than Blade. Once I got into the whole cosplay thing, it just snowballed, and I was like, "What? There are places that I can go where I could dress up in a costume, and it not be Halloween, and it can happen more than like once a year. I'm in."
So today, I really want to talk about your Cyborg cosplay, and the reason why is because I've interviewed cosplayers for over 10 years, and a lot of Teen Time cosplayers, and very few of them are Cyborg. And I think when people think about trying to cosplay Cyborg, I think they get intimidated because it's such a much more involved, elaborated cosplay. I was wondering if you mind sharing with us kind of like the process to it and any tips and tricks that you may want to share.
Oh, sure. That's what I'm here for. Usually when I do a costume and I'm thinking about a costume, I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to do? What is it that I want to do? And the Justice League, I think the Justice League movie was out. It might have been out at that time, or it was about to come out at that time. But I was also a big fan of like the animated stuff, like Justice League War. So I think the concept hit me while watching one of the animated films. I'm pretty sure it was Justice League War, and I really enjoyed the introduction of Cyborg in the animated, the DC animated universe. And I was like, people had been telling me, oh, yeah, you should do this character and that character. And Cyborg, I think, might have been one of the characters' names that people thought that I would do good at. So I was watching the animated movie, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to go for Cyborg. I think that's what I want to do in the next build. At this time, I had already done. I want to say I had already made my Arkham Knight influenced Batman suit, and also the Dawn of Justice Batman suit. So those builds, help me kind of, structure. I pretty much do the builds the same way. And I have to thank Sean Zhang from Zhang Prod on YouTube, because his videos are the ones that were the first ones that came up on the search when I was looking, because I had no clue when I first started making these costumes like this. So I had to YouTube it, and his videos were very, very, very helpful, and they gave me a lot of ideas. So basically now, fast forward, now when I start to do Cyborg, I always decide I'm going to start with either the mask or the helmet. If it comes out okay, then I'll finish the rest of the project. And so I started working on, because I had already made 3 or 4 helmets, different versions of helmets. I already had an idea of what I wanted, how I wanted to go about making this helmet. And I knew it was going to be a little tricky because, the whole half of his head is covered, with the alloy, and then the other half is his natural body parts. So it was a little like, how am I going to really go about this to keep everything together? So I made the helmet as tight as I could. Usually helmets, just basically you need the front strip and your 2 side pieces. And when I create these things, I use contact cement to put them together. But I use a nice EVA floor mat foam, which is like an anti-fatigue floor mat. Most of the cosplayers that do foam builds, that's the material that we use. But now Yaya Han has come up with a line of foam, which is a high density foam. I'm pretty sure other people probably came up with it first, but it's accessible, a lot more accessible, like to get it. Before you would have to order it or something like that. Now you can go to like your sewing shop or something like that, and they have it in there. And it's a high density foam, so you're able to heat it with a heat gun and shape it. And you get able to get some compound curves and things of that nature in there. And you cut all your pieces, you make a template. You draw your template out, you cut everything out with a very nice sharp knife, an X-Acto knife I like to use. You heat the pieces up, you get a nice shape to them, use the contact cement to glue everything together. Once you start getting the base of it down, then you can start adding extra details and things of that nature, which, with my long arms, well, this is what the finished product ended up looking like. So like I said, I had to basically remove a whole section here and all the way to the back. Eventually later on, I decided to add this piece right here basically to keep kind of like both halves together from when you wear it, you sweat, you get the heat, and it cause the pieces to want to separate a little bit. But so this is pretty much what you kind of get, and a lot of the stuff is basically shaping foam with like a Dremel tool. You can if you have the patience, you can really get some really good shapes. Basically, like I was saying, you want to make the first front strip to go all the way around, and then you make your side pieces and you connect those together. So once I had like a full helmet, then I was able to add a half a portion of like around the nose and around the eye area. So I had to glue that on next. Once I had that on there, then I was able to add, I think, I'm trying to figure out where, I think the chin guard might have just came all the way down to in the front. And then I glued a front piece on there. So now it's starting to basically wrap around my face. So once I had the eye area there, and then I was able to basically, and this is, I have to do all this by myself because I don't have anybody here to help me. So it takes a little bit of time, but you come to find your mirror can be your best friend. So once I had the helmet pretty much a basic helmet shape, I then had to make a line where I wanted to cut. I then removed all that material that was on the side. So all of that had to go.
So when you say removing, do you like cut it out? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like what
So basically I made the line all the way down because we know that Cyborg is pretty much half of his face is pretty much covered. So that other half needs to go. I didn't need that there. So I totally just take a sharp knife, my X-Acto knife, and then I just cut away what I don't need. And that's pretty much how I got the main shape of it. Once I got it to fit, then it was all about just adding details, like adding the earpiece section here and making this eyebrow section here, which was a separate piece of foam. It's all about layers. You know, you don't want to have a one-dimensional build. You want to go and add different layers, as many layers as you can. So you could do it with thin foam, pieces of foam, thicker pieces of foam. Like I said, this was a thicker piece of foam, and I kind of just shaped it down with a Dremel. And then you start adding all the extra exciting parts, like I don't think this battery in this light is gone out, but this is an actual light, so that is lit up. It was actually, I found it at Home Depot. It actually was a light that went on the spokes of a bicycle, and I kind of just repurposed it.
Okay.
Then obviously I wanted to have a light up eye. So what I went on eBay and I found lenses that you would use for like Iron Man or something like that, that they would use for, you know, something similar like that. And they had red. So I bought red, and it all has like, it's the easiest wiring because it's all self-contained battery packs and everything like that. I can't wire very well.
Okay.
Phone, I'm happy with the phone, but I don't wire very well. So let's see if I can get it to light up.
Wow.
So lighting makes a big difference when you're doing a costume, especially like this. It really enhances the costume. On top of the eye lighting up and forehead lighting up, I was able to find this aluminum type of decal material, and I thought it had more of a metal effect than just my regular paint job of my metallic paints, which I use acrylic metallic paints for these type of things. And the light hits it very well, and it gives it more of a metal look. So I got the helmet done. And the helmet, like I said, to back up a little bit, when I was looking at the reference imagery of the cartoon from Justice League War for the Do Cyborg, I originally was going to go with that, but it was really big and bulky. I didn't mind that, but it didn't have a lot of definition. There wasn't a lot of detail in the cartoon, obviously. So I kept looking online for more reference material of other stuff, and I came across a new 52 statuette, I think of Cyborg, and I fell in love with it. I was like, you know what? That is very detailed. I'm like, I really would like to use that as the base, you know, as reference for the build. And so basically my whole Cyborg build is based off of that statuette that I saw online.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm very long-winded, so if you don't
No, it's great. You answered every question I was thinking about asking about that helmet. I just answered it before I had a chance to.
In fact, I'll give you. I know I got the beard going on, and I know this is gonna mess up my beard and everything, but. So the only thing I probably could have did better is maybe add some elastic to give a little bit more movement in the jaw area. But being that I have the beard going on, I think that's taking up a little bit more room. But when the foam gets like warm from the sweat, it kind of loosens up a little bit. But so that's how it fits.
Oh wow! Is the rest of the costume also like foam, like even the upper body and everything, the arms?
Everything is foam. Wow. The entire costume is pretty much completely made from the floor mat material.
Oh wow!
And that's what I like to work with. I'm all about working with the foam. Once I was introduced to the foam builds, that was it. I was hooked. And so like the cannon here. So this is Cyborg's white noise cannon, and it's pretty much identical. I got it as close as I could to the statuette. So that statuette was basically my reference material, and it, like I said, it was so heavily detailed that I really, really wanted to try and capture as much of the essence of that, you know, as I could. It might not be 100%, but cosplay doesn't need to be 100% unless you choose it to be. You know, if you want to try to get it that close, you know, more power to you. But I don't think you should focus so much on trying to make it perfect, because then you might lose the whole enjoyment portion of building something like that. Because if you put your expectations way too high and you're not able to get it as close as you would like it to, you know, I think that with some people, some artists, that it can deter you from either trying something new or trying to improve on it.
Okay, wow. So one thing I have to ask is, how heavy is that? Was that a problem for you to wear it all that with you at the con?
Believe it or not, and this is one of the things I'm happy about. Foam is deceptively light. The foam is deceptively light. It depends on, I guess, on how much electronics you might put. If you put like a lot of electronics in there, it might weigh it down. But for the most part, the foam is it's a very light material. And once, if you can get the paint job the way you want it to, it's the paint job, I think, that sells it the most, because that's what gives it the illusion. Because that's what cosplay is, just an illusion of, portraying a character that you're passionate about, or you have some kind of connection to. The paint job is what I think really sells it the most, because I use a lot of metallics, so it makes it look like it's metal. So people obviously associate metal with being heavy, or even just the look of metal would think it would be heavy, but it's actually very light. I've become used to wearing it. It's hot though. It's not a very breathable thing to wear. You're gonna be, so you need, if you're gonna do something like this, you need to be prepared to sweat. Have a good undersuit. Be prepared to sweat, because you're gonna sweat while wearing something like that. But it's not heavy at all.
Okay. Well, speaking of tips and tricks and things of that sort, you have a YouTube channel. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. For years I've been told, you have a lot of information, you should, because I'm constantly doing like live videos on Facebook. And for anybody that knows me, you can find me at Raymond Ramus Cosplay on Facebook, or just Raymond Ramus. I have two different accounts. I basically am putting the same content on both. I just thought, okay, everybody's having a cosplay page, so let me have a cosplay page. And I have my regular page, but most of my regular page is pretty much mostly all cosplay related stuff, and I just go and share the material over to my cosplay page. But people have been telling me for a long time, years, you should do a YouTube channel. You should do a YouTube channel. You should do a YouTube channel. But I really kind of felt like, well, is that really a good thing? I mean, should I? Because the information that at the time, this is what I felt. The information that I'm acquiring is mostly from these other YouTube channels. So I'm just basically recycling the information. But I'm pretty sure they probably are doing the same thing as well. So I said, you know what? I think I want to be. I just said I need to stop procrastinating, and I had my son help me set up a YouTube channel. And I said, I want to do things a little differently. I know there's a lot of content. There's a lot of content on YouTube. How do I, make my stuff stand out from all of that? I'm just going to try to do the best to be myself. I don't want it just to be all about me. I plan on in the future with other content, showcasing other people, other talents, other people's talents, and things of that nature. But right now, I'm just getting started. So for those who are trying to find me, you can find me, Cosplay Ray. And that's it. I felt that was appropriate. So now I'm in the beginning of starting this YouTube channel, and I'm not really caring if it blows up. It's not the reason why I started it. I just started it because I felt it was time. I really wanted to try to do something and just put my stuff out there for other people to see. Hopefully other people can learn from and be entertained and enjoy watching. So right now I'm just doing a lot of slideshows of my builds. So I'm taking a lot of the progress pictures that I've done for my builds, and I'm putting them together in a slideshow, and I'm just adding some background music, turning them into videos, and doing voiceovers. But like I said, I plan on interviewing other people, other friends, other photographers, hopefully promoters, anybody that's involved with the Comic-Con, business or community. Not only that, I want to get back into my martial art training, so I'll be, hopefully doing videos of me getting back into my martial art training or whatever artistic other mediums that I'm, into. We're going to see where it goes from there. And for anybody who's looking for me, like on Instagram, you could find me at Daywalker X Night. So you're basically taking Blade and Batman, putting them together. So Daywalker X Night on Instagram, Cosplay Ray on YouTube. So, hit that subscribe button if you like the content and you like my work and you follow my work and you support me. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys know when I put out new content. And on Facebook, you can find me at Cosplay Ray. Well, I kind of changed the name over there on one of them. Raymond Ramus Cosplay, but I got the Cosplay Ray logo on there. So Raymond Ramus Cosplay or Raymond Ramus on Facebook.
Okay, excellent. I can't think of a better way to end off the segment. Again, thank you very much. And stay tuned for more cosplay stuff.